Rev up your engines!
Here's a great one. Congress approved $7.58 billion for electric chargers, all right? You know how many they built so far? None. They haven't built a single one. There's the government for you. 2 years ago, the Biden administration gave $7.5 billion to build tens of thousands of electric chargers across the country. And 2 years later, they haven't built even one single charger yet. There's the government. There's our wasted taxpayer dollars, right? Now, the United States presently only has 41,000 chargers, right? And their goal is to make 500,000 chargers by the year 2030. Various articles, and they suggest that the United States would need anywhere between 5 million and 13 million chargers if the nation was going to go over to electric cars, right? Now, these clowns, they haven't built a single one yet, but they say by 2030, they have a goal of making 500,000 chargers, right? That's still a spit in the bucket over the millions that would be needed. They still haven't built a single one. So, let's say, I'm not holding my breath about these chargers, and I'm also not planning on buying an electric car anytime soon. Hey, I'm an honest man. I got charger here in Tennessee. I got 4 of them, right? 220 charger to plug them into. So if any electric car companies want to let me try out your car honestly, I'd test it out honestly, see how it works, right? But as of yet, not a single one has offered to give me a vehicle to try out. Not a single one. Other than a couple of them in China and India, but they don't sell them yet in the United States. Maybe if they start selling them here in the United States, they'll give me one and I'll try it out. Hey, feel free. I'll try them out. I'm an honest guy, but all the big companies, not a single one have offered anything, even though I got over 2.5 billion views on YouTube, because they're afraid of me telling people the truth with an actual car that I'm driving around, right? I challenge you car makers of electric vehicles yet again. Look, you get all this free PR, 2.5 billion views. I guess you're so worried that your cars stink and the infrastructure doesn't exist that you don't want a guy like me actually trying it out himself for 6 months to see what happens. Hey, you can eat your own words until you send me one. That's all I got to say. Well, there's a big lawsuit that's ongoing over Ford's 10-speed automatic transmissions, right? All these people say, oh, we've had problems, didn't work right. And Ford says, oh, no, there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them. But listen to Ford's defense. This is hilarious. Now, the plaintiffs say they have erratic shifting, lunging, clunking, and they say that Ford knew about this and hid it from people. And it goes from the 2017 to present Expedition, Mustang, Ranger, F-150, Lincoln Navigator. Big ones, rear-wheel drive. It's a 10-speed rear-wheel drive automatic transmission. Here's what Ford's defense is. One, they say, the plaintiffs did not try to get their vehicles repaired while they were under warranties by Ford. And Ford also says the plaintiffs continue to use their vehicles, negating their own claim that they're unsafe. What kind of a defense is that? They say, well, you didn't go to Ford to get it fixed. Well, I hate to tell you, Ford, but I've had many customers with them, and they went to Ford, and you know what Ford said? That's normal for those 10-speed transmissions. That's just how they are, right? No transmission's supposed to clunk and do stuff, right? So, right away, Ford is covering their own heinies, so you didn't bring it. The people did bring them to Ford, but Ford just said it was normal, and they didn't fix anything. And the other thing said, well, you say they're unsafe, but you still drove them. Well, they paid. Some of these Navigators, stuff like that, were $80,000, $90,000. What are you going to do, just park it, not drive it, right? Ford told them it was safe. They said there's nothing wrong with it to the people, right? The hypocrisy of these scumbag lawyers working for Ford have an audacity to try to we'll make a little technicality so we don't have to say we screwed up, right? Well, they drove them, so they must have believed they weren't unsafe. What a line of baloney. And then having the nerve to say, well, they didn't bring them back to Ford to get them fixed. They tried, and Ford just said, that's what they did with my customers. Oh, that's normal. There's nothing wrong with them. Hey, let me tell you, unless the thing won't move down the road, they'll cover their heinies and say, no, that's normal, that's normal. But when it finally doesn't move, yeah, they'd have to fix it then. You do have a warranty that if your car doesn't go down the road and it's under warranty, they're going to have to fix the transmission, right? But they don't. They'll fight this tooth and nail because there's so many vehicles with these 10 speeds. It would cost Ford probably billions to fix them all. So they're going to stonewall this thing. I hope they get somewhere with it, but who knows? They'll probably get a judge in Michigan to quash the whole thing or something. Well, there's something close to home now. I'm back in Tennessee. The Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA, are now bringing in small nuclear reactors that they're working on. They say they're going to bring the first of its kind small nuclear reactor to the United States here in Tennessee. Their president said, and I quote, "We're focusing on the next generation of nuclear power right now. It's what I think is the country's leading project. The Clinch River nuclear site. They're smaller. They can build them in different areas. Of course, it has to do with the government, so it's going to take forever to get anything done. TVA says they've been working on this project for the last 5 years, and it could take another 5 to 7 years until you actually see one built generating electricity. So don't the time lag in this country when it comes to building anything like that. These idiots in Washington better get off of their fat behinds and start pushing this instead of those stupid wind turbines and solar panels. These things create a lot of energy. They're going to last a really long time. It's the new style ones. They're more efficient. You know, things change. People's minds often, they're closed, right? And they just think, oh, these dangerous nuclear reactors, la, la, la. We designed these things. And the United States basically sold their nuclear plant design all around the world to everybody. If you ever notice, you look at the Japanese ones and the Russian ones, they're in English. The dials are in English because it was American stuff that they were using, right? A long time later. And they have better technology. So let's follow up with this, people, instead of saying, oh, no, let's use windmills. Let's go back to the, 13th century technology instead of building on the nukes and using the new technology to build. It only makes sense. In Washington, get off of their high horse of the woke nation and start doing something that makes sense. Building these nuclear reactors, which hopefully they'll get to build them here in Tennessee. Tennessee already gets 45% of the electricity in Tennessee is already generated by nuke power. It only makes sense. It's clean. And guess what? They're not building them offshore where the salt water is going to rot them away, right? They're building them in Tennessee on the land. They got lots of lakes and rivers they can get water to cool stuff with, right? And it's not salt water, people. It's not corrosive. Well, poor old Elon Musk, even Walmart is leaving him now. Last week, the final straw between Walmart and Twitter, what's it called, X now. What do they say? Rose by any other name, yeah? They said, we're not advertising on it anymore because we don't like what you're saying about stuff, right? Realize one thing about Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Elon paid $44 billion for that company. That is a wholly ad-subsidized enterprise. The only way they make money is by advertising, right? And he's slapping the people around. Hey, I'll do whatever I want. Well, guess what? Advertisers don't go for that. That's one of the reasons that I don't take money advertising products, because they always want something for it. Well, you said this, we don't like that. We won't advertise with you anymore, right? I only want to tell people the truth about cars, so I just test things out honestly. Yeah, people send me stuff and I try it out. If it's good, I say so. And if it's bad, I usually say that too. A lot of times I'll say that even more because I hate getting ripped off. I did one on an electric bicycle a few weeks ago. It's a $1,700 electric bicycle, and the thing won't even turn on. I turned it on, and it said PA0000 with a 0 flash. I figured, well, got to be some kind of code. So I contact the company, and they give me 5 different codes. None of them work. I said, why don't you just send me another bicycle? But that never came to fruition, so I'm stuck with this bicycle. You turn the key on, and it doesn't work with electric boost. It's just a regular bicycle, but it's like a motorcycle. So the problem is the tires are so big and fat, and it's only 6-speed gears. It's really a hellacious thing to ride around because it's heavy. It's got a heavy battery, big fat motorcycle tires, and I got to pedal it. Plus, it sits like a motorcycle, and you don't pedal motorcycles, so you sit lower. Well, if you sit too low in a bicycle, it's not efficient. It's a motorcycle seat setup, so you can't raise the seat. So my legs would be pedaling like this. Only part of them would be used, and my knees would be sticking up in the air. It wouldn't be efficient. I don't make my living selling advertisements to people like Twitter, X does, right? What do they say? He's cutting off his nose despite his face. Crazy the things the guy does. It's all based on advertising. Yet, as old Elon says, advertising is an undesirable but instrumental source of revenue. What do they say? Better the devil you know than the devil you don't, right? Now Walmart has says bye-bye to Elon Musk's X, the old Twitter, and they're not advertising on it anymore. We'll see how long this lasts. Maybe he'll cut him a special deal or something. Who knows? So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.